Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be working on some planter boxes today. We're going to be encasing them in some metal frames, and then we are going to build a 4-tier rack to drop all of those into. It's going to be a pretty big project. It's going to be in the neighborhood of about 11 to 12 foot long. We're going to have 2 short planters, 8 long planters. They're going to be stair-stepped up on a tier platform. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. Thanks for stopping in. Let's get to it. All right, we're going to get busy, start ripping this stuff down. All right, that's going to wrap up for the backs, the bottoms, and the fronts. Now we're going to move to the ends. We're going to get set up for that, and we'll be right back. I've got all of the lumber cut, all of our material sitting here in this pile. So we have 48 of the 52s. We are going to make 2 of the 22-inch planters. We got these and that. These should be all of my fronts and backs. Okay. I ran this morning and I got these tapered drill bits. These are by DeWalt. I've got a 6, 8, and a 10 that came in a 3-pack. I think I paid $29, $30 for them, something like that. These have the taper drill and the countersink. Going to clamp it into place. Nice and even. They're actually where I want them. Do my countersink here real quick. For whatever reason, that wasn't very tight. All right, we're going to grab those bottoms real quick. I'm going to start by putting here and here. Whoops. I just pulled that straight out, didn't I? Well, gee, that's not good. How come that gave up the ghost so quickly? Wow, really? How crazy. Well, that's just not good at all. I figured this would have a better hold on that. These are kind of garbage. yeah, I'm going to be pulling this out with pliers. Let me take care of this and we'll be back. Okay, so hope everybody can hear me. Everything's good. Okay, all right, so it looks like, turn that off. It looks like they're the same exact thing, except the dimpling on the shaft looks to be a bit different. So we're gonna get in here and figure this out real quick. Pretty much the same set. I just hope that the dimpling on the shafts from the hex shaft or the hex bit that goes into the drill down to the shaft that's underneath. But there's a bigger dimple right in here. I don't know how well you can see that. Oh, there's a bigger, longer dimple. The other one had two little tiny pinhead dimples. So I'm hoping this will be stronger. We are going to find out. Okay, everybody, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this portion of the video. We've got them all assembled. We've got to let them dry. So that may take 2 or 3 days. I don't know. We'll have to see. So a lot of humidity right now, so I don't know how much that's going to affect me. But do join us back in the next section. We're going to do the angle iron frames, flat bar, have them stained. We'll do that. That'll be part of that. We'll also be building the frames that all of this is going to go in. Once these are wrapped in metal, I'm building a 1-inch square frame tube, 4 tiers high, roughly 12-foot long total length of all the planters together with the steps in the middle. Okay, so I hope you can hear me all right. I got the fan turned on, got it turned up where it's a little bit cooler out here. 90 plus degree days in North Texas, what can I tell you? So we're gonna get busy on this, get these things sanded down. Okay, we're gonna make a few checks on some things to see how these are fitting. I'm not liking the way this is. It's taking me way too long to round these corners, so I'm gonna get the rasp and then come back and sand these down to where I like them as far as the fit and finish. Look at another piece. Okay, now that I have another piece of angle iron, I'm going to put this in here to help hold this down. Trying to put a whole lot of pressure behind this because these teeth will dig in and tear things up pretty good. So I don't need to really put a lot of pressure behind. This is the fine teeth. The coarse teeth are on this side. Alright, so all of those are done. So we'll run through and sand this down real quick. I'm not going to bother with sanding the inside. All of that's going to be covered anyway. So we're just going to move through the outside, get all of this prepped for the angle iron to weld these frames up, and leave the inside as it is. Quick and easy. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I've actually put the wood rasp away. I've got my little Buck Brothers block plane I bought from Home Depot several years ago. I bought it because I was just in need of a plane real quick, and this was a block plane that I could get my hands on. I wanted to put that out there that I'm actually using a block plane to actually round these corners off now. This is basically to hog off most of the corner, to come back, sand it smooth with that 100 grit disc that I've been using, and that way that angle iron, it fits up here the way it's supposed to. So no wiggling, we're good. about a dozen or two passes. I've got my blade pulled back quite a bit, so I'm just taking little tiny shaves. Knock down my screw holes here. Take the fuzzies off of that. We're on this last one. We're going to knock it out real quick and then get these ready. We will probably, it's getting late in the day, so I will probably take up coming out and staining these things first thing in the morning. All right, good morning everybody. We're out here fixing to stain the insides of these. I've got my Minwax wood finish English chestnut, if you could read that. So this is what we're using today. This is almost a full can. I've got my 2.5 inch brush. Doesn't really have to be much bigger than that. If you want to go 3, whatever size brushes you have will work. I've already shaken this up pretty good. Gonna pop it open and see what we got. I probably need a stick. Yeah. And that's to give you an idea. That's pretty dark. Pretty dark color, so. I'm not too worried about the inside. Make sure there's nothing on the bottom, no tint or anything like that. Alright, I think we're probably pretty good. Anyway, we're going to get started on this and get these done. We're going to run through all of these and then let them sit here and dry. Okay. I knew I'd have some of that bleed through because it's not sealed on these parts, but that's okay. If any of you are wondering why I'm choosing this stain over another, is because I've had this English chestnut for quite a few years. It's still a good stain. It's I believe it's a water-based stain if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, still good. I've just had it sitting on the shelf for a good long while, and I would rather use it than lose it. Don't know that I mean, at this point it's still good. I don't know how long it would last, but this is where I'm at with that choice. So kind of cut this in around the seams and the cracks like you would trimming out a door or window in a house. Try to do that so I don't have as much liquid running through the cracks or the seams. Alright, that's pretty much that one. We're just going to move right through here, keep getting all the others, and try to get this stage of it done today. Try to line these up a little bit in case I have any bleed through. Wipe this out. Already got spiders trying to make homes here. We're at the end of July right here in North Texas. I don't know wherever you might be at, but if you're having spider problems, put it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know if it's you too, or if it's just us. All right. This is kind of a long process with this mini planters, but it's what needs to be done. Just about gone through this whole entire jar or can of stain on these 10 planter boxes. I'm not trying to make it super heavy. I'm trying to take and thin it out as best I can so I can make it go as far as possible. So we got all 10 of them done as far as the interior stain. We'll let these dry, we'll come back, we'll do the outside. Then we're gonna start fitting these things up for the metal frames that I've cut. Okay, so we're back at it. We're out here. The interior stain is dried good enough for me to handle these a little bit. I do have a glove on this time. I have an extra in case I need it. I've got the, from Home Depot, the Veritane Golden Oak. This is all they had. They don't have Minwax. I obviously must have acquired that at Lowe's or Home Depot before they quit carrying Minwax. Would have swore I got it there, but not important. Anyway, so this is shook up pretty good. We're gonna start going around the outside. I'm gonna try to sticker these when I get to this. That way I can put them on there. These are gonna be the tops. So it's probably the last thing I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get them up off the table so in case I have any little runoff on the edges, it's not sticking to the table. So I'm gonna get moving forward on this and see what I can get done. Stuff is starting out really thin. I used some of the Varathane poly, quick drying poly, on the pantry project that we did inside. If you'll remember, I actually switched up the poly on that because I didn't like the way that was drying, because it was drying way too fast. While I was applying it, it was already getting sticky. I was like, man, it's not even giving me time to get it onto the panels and stuff, and it was already trying to dry. But that was my experience with it. Others may have had some better experiences than myself, so those are only mine. Now, because my angle iron's coming up around these bottom panels, I'm not going to get super picky about having those picture perfect. As long as they're uniform, I'm good. And what's going to be covered isn't going to matter. I may have plenty left after I get done with these things, but we'll see how much it soaks into the wood. That's going to be the determining factor. For those of you that have not dealt with a lot of stains, penetrating stains are really super good to get down into the fibers of the wood. Obviously, that's what penetrating means. But the trick about penetrating is when the wood stops penetrating what's there, you always need to come back behind. So I'll wipe all the interiors of these out to get any residue that's left. You don't want to leave that stuff in there. So I'm sure residue will get into other stuff that you may be using it for, depending on how you're using it. So that's manufacturer's recommended procedure. Wipe the excess out. Always a good idea. Anyway, that's always been my practice since I started doing this as a young kid. I was always taught to do that regardless, so. Look at that speed, the sweat's already beating up on it. That's good. That is good. Sweat's not even trying to soak in. Going to hit this one a little bit more on the end grain. See, that's drinking it up really pretty good. So I want to make sure I get that sealed. I'm thinking that the 2 cans was a good move because I think I'm going to be using all of it. A couple of coats is the ticket on this. So to truly get the color that I'm after, I think 2 coats is going to have to be. So Okay, good morning everybody, or good afternoon, I should say. We're picking back up on the outside stain. We're going to get these last 4 done, let them dry, come back. We're going to start wiping everything down, double checking our finish to make sure it's dark enough. If not, we'll do another coat on the outside. The inside is good. What hasn't dried will be wiped out. We've discussed that. So anyway, we're going to get going on this and get this stuff done today. Another crazy hot day in North Texas. It's supposed to be 97 degrees today. Yay. I love the sun, I just don't love the heat. But you can't have one without the other, unfortunately. As soon as I get these stained, and I'll check the other ones for being dry in color, make sure we're good on the coats. I think we're going to be fine. I'm going to start setting up to placing the metal frames around the outside, bottom, corners and up, and then the banding across the top. As we discussed earlier, like I said, I'll be lowering that about an inch or so to keep from getting hands and arms and elbows and body parts burnt out here in the summer sun if we're picking strawberries and herbs out of these planters when we're using them. So I always try to keep the stain moving, flowing from excuse me, trying to keep it into one color tone so I don't have too much stain sitting in one area. Thin it out, making an even coat. That way, if it does, when it all soaks in and it dries, I know where we're at as far as needing more, needing less, or whatever. So you can see these already soaking in right here pretty good. Just a little dry on the end here. We'll go ahead and take care of that. Yeah, I have the feeling this is going to work out really good for the color and everything else on these. Looking really good to this point. I'm actually almost done with this can of stain. I am going to have to pull that second one out just to get these finished up. Well, this wood's really drinking this stuff really fast. All right, we're gonna let this dry and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back and I sanded off some of this as it had a lot of extra that dark stain on it, that English chestnut. So I did go ahead and sand that in the bottom of the box. Anywhere I saw that, I went ahead and knocked some of that off there. I didn't get it all, but I knocked most of it off. Like I said, it can add a little bit of character. By the time I get this honey oak on there, it should mix in pretty well. And we should be fine. Go ahead and get this end. Since we're here. And that can is about as dry as I can get it. All right, had this shook up already. Knowing I was going to get into this can today, we went ahead and had this ready. We're supposed to have 10-mile-an-hour breezes through here sometime today. It's supposed to already been here, but I'm not feeling any other breeze other than this light breeze from the fan, so if they're coming, I wish they would get here. And just be steady Eddie all the way through the day. It would be so nice. We'll let that sit and soak up for just a minute, and then we'll move it off in front of the other one over here, and then we'll get the next one up here. Okay, we're going to do this last side, probably give it 2 coats, and let it dry. I'll probably hit this end again, give that another coat while we've got it laid over. Most of this is looking pretty good. Liking what I'm seeing here. I'll just start right down here. I think I like that a lot better. Okay. That's looking just fine. So we'll let this sit for a minute, and we'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and put that last coat on it, and we'll set it off to dry. Okay, so that's probably about as dry as it's going to get. We're going to put this last coat on there, let it sit for a minute, then we're going to move it over there and stage it so it can sit and dry the rest of the way. Yeah, all these boxes are really starting to come out to be a very pretty color, pretty golden oak color. I'm liking the way this is doing. Just basically dragging my brush across here. I'm not really putting any pressure on it. Letting it do the work. It's really kind of the same technique I use when I brush on poly. All right, we're going to go ahead and let that dry. I'm going to close all of this down. Try to get this cleaned up around the lid here, so we don't have this stuff sticking on us later. All right, there we go. And done. Okay, we'll let that dry, and we'll stage it over here, and then we'll move to the next phase. We are going to get set up probably tomorrow. We're going to start doing the metal on these boxes here, these small ones. I want to move forward on that to get those tacked together. I want to complete at least these two to get an idea of how I'm going to go about doing these bigger ones. So it's, once you do one, it's pretty much about the same. I just want to make sure that it's going to work out okay, because I'm going to put the metal frames around these boxes and then tack them into place. Then to weld them out, I'm going to remove them from the boxes and then go ahead and weld them out. But I'm going to have every piece on there. So we're going to have the flat bar, the corners, the bottom, everything else around it that needs to be on there is going to be tacked into place before we take it back off the box. We hope you're enjoying the video so far. We hope that this is something that you enjoy. If you have any questions on the planers, why I build them so big, why I build them out of the materials that I do, why I'm building so heavy, why am I putting metal frames, whatever your questions may be. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments and I would be more than glad to get back with you and answer any of those questions that you have. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys always coming back to the channel here at Fab and Build. We really enjoy taking the time to do this. No matter how hot it is, I still enjoy doing this. I just wish the conditions were different, that's all. So anyway, you guys have a good one. Be kind to one another. Take care. Hope you're in a good place. And we'll see you back here next time at Fab and Build.